Josh Greer.
Josh Greer.
Twitch. Oh yeah, you want a link to the stream?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem, buddy. Promote. That's all. There it is. Oh boy. A few. I think I might have the piece. I might do that before, real quick.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, I'm back. Let me open up the game. Alright, here we are.
Let's go. God damn it! See, that's the update.
LMFAO!
What the fuck?
Hello, Klonos.
Just give it a second. First, okay, there we go. Now it's gonna open the game. Now it's gonna open with the video game.
Yippee!
I forgot that I logged in with your account on Steam.
Oh yeah, I remember that happened to me recently. It's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Oh crap! I have to log back. All right, I think it's because I updated my computer.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Give me a minute.
My character swapped too. Because of the other time. I'm gonna say this right now because it's the perfect time to. So recently, I accidentally recently it appeared in a video from with Platinum Yossi here, as well as some other friends on my on a friend's channel, JMan155, and we were playing like this Mario 64 multiplayer mod thing, and then
Yeah.
and then I somehow accidentally opened up Garfield Kart and started a race.
Oh yeah. So funny.
I don't know how I did it. I have zero clue how that happens. Anyway, welcome to Garfield Kart Album Reviews. This is episode 41.
Wahoo! Well, not really Wahoo, but you know.
Yeah, previously on the show we talked about a really good album.
Yeah, Discovery by Daft Punk, which also has a movie made about it. Both are great, both are amazing. All tracks are great. I just love Daft Punk. Daft Punk is great.
Yeah, Daft Punk is really good. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, today, is the, we don't have a specific album. The only other times that we did that are, like, the recap and the re-ranking, but this time, we're not talking about an album at all.
Yeah.
No,
it is related to music.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say this now. This is gonna be a much more, from this point onwards, I should say, this is gonna be a much more, serious episode.
Yeah.
Despite playing Garfield Kart, because, we wanted to, like, talk about this seriously, just, like, take it, just talk about it, you know?
Yeah, talk about it seriously as we can. Again, it might be seen as unserious because of the Garfield Kart gameplay, but trust me, it is. We're gonna be serious about this.
Yes, so we despite Garfield Kart playing in the background, we have taken certain topics pretty seriously on here, and we're gonna try and do the same here. Yeah, because this is a real incident with real people affected in it, and
yeah,
I feel like this kind of thing's important to talk about, and there is a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, and not many people really brought it up, honestly.
Yeah, like it feels like it kind of like washed away like almost right after it happened. But that was like, like at first I needed like some time to process it, but like recently I've been feeling like that we should talk about it on here. It's a good place to put it off. Put it out. And yeah. I don't know if you have anything else to say before we start.
No, you can start right now.
Alright, we're gonna try and divide this into 4 sections. First, it's gonna be a personal connection with both Joe Hawley and Tally Hall, and then you're gonna be talking about the 2020 docs. Sorry. And then the 2023 doc, and then final thoughts.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get started with both of our personal connections to it. I probably have more to say than Yossi here.
Yeah, which I'll let you take the spotlight first for that.
Yeah. I'll start from the beginning. I used to be a Tally Hall fan back in the day, and I used to like really like their music back then, and yeah, and I remember when I did first start listening, the doc was out, but I didn't hear about it right away when I first heard of them. I just thought, oh, funny band or whatever, but yeah, it did, but I did eventually end up hearing about it, and I'm gonna be honest here, I didn't take it super seriously back then. But I've learned to grow and change as a person, I guess, and yeah, over the years, I think when I turned like 18, I started to lose that connection to Tally Hall, and and then yeah, but I didn't still like outright hate them or anything right away, cause they just like, oh, you know, I still tried to like defend them at times, and yeah, and that went on for a bit, and then not too long ago with this year with this new show, I've like started to look more into things, and I was looking more into the Tally Hall and Joe Hawley stuff, and it's not as good as it, in my opinion, has greatly changed on it. We have talked about a few projects by both Joe Hawley and Tally Hall as a whole. For first, we talked on episode 3 for Hawaii Part 2, and we were pretty mixed on it back then, but now our opinion is much more negative on it, and not just because of everything happening here.
Yeah.
And we also, later on, we went back to listen to Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum a bit later. Quite a bit later. And
yep.
I really hated it. It was the worst album I've ever heard. Now, I did not remember it being that bad. And I can't believe I used to like it, but I'm not gonna try and get into it here. But I do wanna, and then we also listened to Good and Evil later on, after the whole Marvin thing, and it was still like really bad, but it was not as bad as Marvin's here. And yeah, that's about where I am with Tally Hall now. I don't know if you want to share your experience real quick.
Yeah, I really don't have much experience with Tally Hall. Really, I've never been into them at all. Mostly because I was not into like just the well, at least the only music I was into at the time was video game music. So that was pathetic of me. But I did that one to other artists that isn't related to video games. But yeah, I just remember like Tally Hall's name. I just remember Tally Hall's name getting like thrown around a lot. Even by some friends. Yeah, I think I remember one of them recommended Tally Hall to me, and I just like, okay, and I just never bothered. But yeah, there's like some footprints I still remember. Like in the show I mentioned the AVGN reply thing from my gimmick account. Remember that? I got thrown around that one of the references, which is Banana Man. I remember listening to it. I did not like it back then, and I really do not like it now. But yeah, pretty much just on the same wavelength as since we are together in this show. Listened to Hawaii Part 2, thought it was meh. Then on to Marvin's, which I did not get the love for that at all. I thought the album was terrible. I thought every song sounded really pretentious. I thought the whole band in general was just a white boy band with just pretentious songwriting. I just did not like Joe Hawley as a songwriter, honestly. I thought the songs are very vapid. I thought they tried too hard to have a meaning and just feel like they have no meaning at all. Yeah, I have a very negative stance on just Tony Hall as music. I just don't like their music.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic, I do want to mention one thing. We did notice some of Joe's quirks, I guess make an appearance in some of the actual music.
Yeah.
I think there's some pretty negative messages in both Marvin's and Hawaii Part 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because Marvin's, he has Banana Man where he's kind of racist, and
yeah,
there's also a stalker song on the band with an actual stalker. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
And then there's also in Hawaii Part 2, there's both a song where he's about the stalking.
Ooh.
Yeah, Stranded Lullaby, and then there's also Variations on a Cloud, which is trying to tribute both Tally Hall and 9/11.
Yeah, I despise that song, honestly. I know people really do love that song. But I don't see it. I really don't. I thought it's incredibly tone deaf. I thought it sounded bad. I thought it was just insulting. I thought it was insulting.
Yeah, and then we also noticed kind of it's just the way he talks is very prevalent in his music.
Yeah.
So
we'll get to why that's important later.
Yeah, I just figured I should mention that now. And also, yeah. Now on to the 2022 doc. 2020 doc. Why? I don't know why I keep saying 2022.
That's fine, but yeah, 2020 doc. I think I remember hearing about it just a tiny bit back when it actually released, but since I was never into Tally Hall and never really heard their music, I never paid attention to it. But I do remember, I think it was you that told me about it.
Yes, yeah, and I haven't read in forever. We were gonna read it before this, but we could not find it.
Yeah, doc I remember it was removed at one point.
Yeah.
And it was linked in the 2023 document, but spoilers, I guess. 2023 doc was also removed, dude. So yeah, there's no way to read both docs, but we do have some memory of both.
Yeah. From what I remember here, it's split into 5 parts for the document. I don't remember exact order. I want to say transphobia part was first. Yeah, it went over Joe Hawley having a pretty weird reaction reaction to being asked to put pronouns in his bio.
Oh yeah, I remember someone made a whole video on that defending him about it.
Yeah, there's like some weird conversation. He's just like getting very defensive, and also like being. And I also remember the words said in there like very pretentious in his own way. Yeah, it's just like, why do I have to do it? Why are you pressuring me into this? I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And they're just like asking like politely.
Yeah, they're just asking to put. It's like it's 2 words.
And then
Plus
he
a slash,
also.
it's not hard.
And he also got into like a bit of a conversation about weed there. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, that's about it for that part. It's not very good there, but it gets worse.
Yep.
And then I think there's the what's next? Oh yeah, there's the weird interactions with minors in there, I believe. Basically, yeah, he's like kind of like reacting with weird of like this underage account on Instagram, like see like he just like liked all her photos and then awkwardly left. Yeah, and then he just like it was like really creepy, and then like and like yeah, that's about it there, I believe. Except just act. Oh, so yeah, and also that he also acted weird towards a lot of younger fans. Pretty much, he just like often showed interest in like girls way younger than him.
Yeah, which is a theme prevalent in the newer doc as well. So keep that in mind.
Yep. And then there's I believe what's next? Oh yeah, racism. Yeah, that's the aforementioned Banana Man song for this one. Yeah, if you don't, I think we might have to do like a bit into the song on this one. Yeah, if you don't know, Banana Man's basically like basically like in basically like a very offensive like Islander stereotype song with like very thick accent and like saying like banana. It's like saying like like I think there's like one part where it's like saying like very like stereotypical things of that.
Yeah. Just all in like this fake Jamaican accent with like
yeah.
With a Jamaican style beat. It can be seen as insensitive, yet people try to see the deeper meaning to it. I don't see that at all, honestly. At least at face value, when really songs shouldn't do that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. And it gets worse with the music video. Which kind of has has pretty bad face paintings in there.
Yeah, very questionable. Very similar to actual blackface.
Yes. And it looks very bad for him.
Yeah. So yeah, not a good look. Not a good look at all.
Yeah, then there's mistreating collaborators, which he's like pretty much like very insistent on like it's very like very insistent on like getting it to collab with Neil Ciceriga, which makes music under both his real name and Lemon Demon. and also like trying to like spread more of the like comparison stuff in there. And I think Neil Cicerega
Yeah.
basically told him to like fuck off there. And yeah, then it also leads kind of with like the next one, stalking and manipulation, because there's like some weird activity of like how treating like his treating like an ex in his project, like trying to get her in it, I think it was.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And she was like, no, but she was like, oh, you gotta appear in it. That part's kind of fuzzy on me, but I think I remember that.
The whole doc's been kind of fuzzy on me. That's why I haven't been saying much, honestly.
Yeah, we were trying to read it, but
Yeah,
you know.
couldn't access it. Yeah.
And then there's one more thing to talk about. There's the stalking, which is basically like, oh, he tried to like keep in contact with which also leads with the 1X, like trying to like, oh, keep in contact, and like is like trying to do anything for her, and basically like and he wrote like the one, that's where the Stranded Lullaby comes in. He wrote the one song about the girl he was stalking, which is very icky.
Very icky, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what much else to say. It's very fuzzy for me, and I'm sorry for like if it's like if I mess up anything there, but that's what I remember from it.
I vaguely remember the stalking part, but yeah, the rest is again very fuzzy on me. But yeah, I do remember the reception from it, which is most Tony Hawk fans just didn't take it seriously at all.
Yeah, well, despite like actual proof on there.
Yeah, it's like it's either like it's between half serious and not serious at all, but still they didn't take much into consideration. They just kind of like write it off.
Yeah.
But for the next document released in 2023, that does have a lot more substantial evidence, and yeah, I guess we'll talk about that now.
Yeah, 2023 doc now. Basically, there's it's basically mostly revolves around two younger two minors.
Yeah, it was between two 17-year-old fans and
yeah,
17 and Joe Hawley, who is I should state that Joe Hawley is a 40-year-old man.
Yes.
But yeah, it's between those two and Joe, but it's mostly told in perspective from one of them.
Yep.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, I was wondering, so we used the names in it because they did try to like put it down, so like I wasn't sure if we should use actual names or use something else instead.
Let's just call them X and Y out of respect for both of them.
Alright.
But yeah, X and Y are both 17. This is mostly told in perspective of X.
Yes.
But yeah, there's like some themes that are like some things that are transferred over from the 2020 doc to here. Those made by completely different people. There are some patterns that are still there, like the transphobia and I guess you could say the stalking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot how many sections, but I do remember there was the transphobia. Oh, go ahead.
I think it was like mostly split into like the main before the call and the actual call. We'll get into that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it was basically just like kind of just a snowball to that phone call that happened, which it started off sort of nice from her and Joe's interaction, though there is bits and pieces where Joe was just an asshole to her.
Yeah.
And what I remember, again, there was like, yeah, they interacted. It started off nice, but again, Joe decided to be an asshole. And what I remember, there was one important footnote that is just that Taller was just a genuine hyperfixation for X, and I do mean that in a literal sense, not in the sense that some people would say, you know. They're just like, oh yeah, I just I got into it so much that I could feel like I couldn't escape it in that mental capacity. At least that's how I can try to explain it. But anyways,
yeah, like it's a pretty much. I see that word misused a lot, but it's like an actual, real hyperfixation of it.
Yeah. It kind of that word kind of lost its meaning, honestly. But yeah, back to the document itself. So they talked for a while. Then there's I remember he always insisted on it, on like meeting her up in person. You know, 17-year-old girl and the 40-year-old man. That's really weird.
Yeah.
But they do meet up sometimes. I remember like yeah, he also there was. I think he was there for a graduation party at some point.
Yeah, that's what I think so, yeah.
Yeah, there was also the museum, which there's not really much there, but there is it was something called Sonic. It was like Sonic something.
Yeah, Sonic Lunch. It's basically like a venue that they'd perform at a lot.
Oh right. But yeah, they meet up there, and I remember he was also with Dick there some point. The details I forgot, and I do wish that I have access to it, but again, it was removed. But there were a lot of transphobia again. One of the more notable parts was that he would refer to X's name in quotes.
Yep, that's what I was about to mention.
Yeah, which is incredibly insulting.
Yeah, like they'd often go like back and forth, not using also preferred pronouns at times. Like insisting on it being, and just I also think I don't know if that happened yet, but I think they insisted one of them was not asexual, but I could be mistaken on that part.
I think so, but I could be mistaken on that too. But yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna skip to the actual phone call because it was mostly just like a back and forth, of just like Joe being a dick and Joe not being a dick some point. But the phone call happened, and that's where he was like blackout drunk, and then he just decided to spew out a bunch of racial slurs, bunch of
and a bunch of like sexual comments about the two, which were minors.
Yeah. I think I remember he even like tried to do that after the phone call. Like comparing their chest sizes.
Yeah, like and I think they were like, oh yeah, basically like saying like really weird things between the two.
Yeah, it's really weird, really.
Hello, if you're watching this now, for some reason, Twitch did not decide to save the the last 15 minutes of the original stream and the VOD.
Unfortunately, so this is a re-recording.
Yeah, cause I don't know what happened, but apparently sometimes it can just cut off there, and there's no way to get it back when it does that. so we just
Yeah.
kind of have to re-record it.
Yeah. So from what I remember, before the VOD cut off, we were talking about the phone call. We actually got to the phone call. I still reiterating for this recording. So basically, the phone call boiled down to him just being blackout drunk, screaming a bunch of racial slurs to X, and actually, racial slurs, sexual comments, and just being just an overall asshole, pretty much.
Yeah, like just being like pretty much like there's like I said there in the VOD, there's like a bunch of like racial slurs like and stuff, and there's also like being weirdly sexual between the two, like with the comparing breasts there.
Yeah, it's probably in the VOD, but I'm mentioning it here in this re-recording. Just the fact that this man at 4 years old is decided to compare two 17-year-olds' breast sizes. That obviously that's just set some alarms, and it's incredibly creepy.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
phone call. I think that's pretty much it, cause it's just
yeah,
like
but
being very horrible.
yeah, there was also like a follow-up phone call after that, the one that Y did to Joe Hawley, basically trying to explain to him, and he just kind of just tried to brush it off, pretty much. There's a full recording of it, and you can actually find it on YouTube. Yeah, it's not really a good look, to say the very, very least.
Yeah, it's really not, cause like
Yeah.
it was still like trying to defend it even after everything, and it's like really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, just the whole document in general is just like a whole bunch of back and forth with just Joe Hawley being really horrible to X and even Y sometimes, and the whole comparing chest sizes, that was, I think, the straw that the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much the document itself. It saddens me so much that, well, for the first few hours that has been called to attention, people did rightfully you know, try to pay attention to it. It was very quickly forgotten within the same week.
Yeah, like everyone just like started like minding their own business after that.
Yeah, even like with like companies too. Like there was like days like about a week after, it was already like a promotion for Hawaii
Yeah.
for 2. I think on CD there was obviously U2s with U2s of all the members, including Joe Hawley. It's really weird and a bit sickening that these companies, even after these big allegations, still considered making merch that has Joe Hawley included, or at least is Joe Hawley centered, like a Y Part 2. So that must be a Joe Hawley project.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So super weird. Just like it's like it never happens, and it's really annoying because it did happen, and real people were affected.
Yeah, and while while X the original one posted the 2023 document, did delete it and didn't want to talk about it anymore, it is still important to consider that, yeah, Joe Hawley is, well, obviously mentally unwell, and at the very least needs some help, and that stuff, and that his actions need to be accounted for in some way.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like you can't just let him keep getting away scot-free like this.
Yeah, it's like these are 2 whole documents against him within the span of 3 years. Like 3 years sounds like a lot, but in terms of like big allegations and considering these things build up, that's not a lot. That's a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah, like that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, just and for again, the exact same thing happened to the 2020 document. So fans decided to like oh, they either don't take it as seriously as it should be, don't take it seriously at all, or just brush it off like it's fake and just trying to antagonize Joe Hawley because Joe Hawley could do no wrong. Either that or just be like, oh, why me be fan of Joe Hawley? Something like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that mentality.
Yeah, just how do I make this about me mentality? It's just genuinely disgusting.
Yeah, like, oh, how can I make this whole thing about me? And also, I'm not sure if this was mentioned before on the VOD part at least, but like, there's like people like feel like people are like defending like too much on like the mental health thing, cause like it is the reason, but it's not like an excuse for anything.
Oh yeah, it was mentioned, but yeah, that's it. Glad you mentioned it here in this re-recording. Just yeah, they heavily lean on the defense too much. Like I get it, man. Joe Hawley, he's not mentally well, but it just doesn't seem like he's actually seeking it out. Especially when you listen to that phone call, he still kind of acts the same way, and is trying to even defend himself. So it just seems like he's kind of a little bit ignorant in terms of like trying to get help. So, and even now we just don't know if he's actually getting the help he needs. We just get like a vague statement from one of the other members. They're just like, oh, this isn't the Joe Hawley we know. We hope he can get some help. And that's really it. There's no real update besides that. We don't know what's going to go on with Joe Hawley now, and it's concerning.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, what happened to him? We're not hearing anything about it.
Yeah, just people continuing to, idolize Joe Hawley, just buying his stuff, and I know there's gonna be this defense of, oh, separate the art from the artist, but that's the thing. Joe Hawley is one of those artists that I don't think I can do it as, since there's gonna be some people that put that use their preferred creative medium as a extension to themselves, like what Joe Hawley does in his songwriting. As much as I don't like it, because the way he writes the songs and the way he types are pretty much the same. Excuse me. But yeah, just don't think that excuse is very viable. Especially since I think you mentioned this in the VOD, but he does have that song, Stranded Lullaby from Hawaii Part 2.
Yeah.
It is just, yeah, it's just it's really hard to do that with some artists. That excuse, it's like very, for lack of a better phrase, hit or miss with some artists.
Yeah, and it doesn't really help here.
Yeah, especially since it's a pretty consistent pattern with at least some of the allegations, like the transphobia, even a bit of the grooming, even a bit of the stalking. Those are still kind of prevalent within both of the documents, and those just never really been taken seriously. The only thing that has been really taken seriously is the fact that Joe Hawley is mentally unwell. But the thing is, it's just like there's no real, I guess, effort to just try to actually encourage him to get some help. Because, well, firstly, from what I remember in like a separate video, Joe Hawley would block people that try to like call him out. So
yeah,
it just really just saddens me. Like it just kind of like it's really just brushed off like that.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like really easily brushed off by a lot of people, but I don't think a lot of people truly get it.
Yeah. Because yeah, it just makes me angry that they kind of just like jump to the defense immediately, which obviously with like dogs like these, it does kind of do that, but that's exactly the problem. But yeah, just jumping the gun immediately without really considering what the other person may go through, especially when it's that person that they're idolizing. So it's just like put that perspective into your shoes. Like, what if that happened to you?
Yeah, just try and do that. That's what I'd say. My advice to any Tally Ho fans watching it. Like, you can still enjoy the music, but like, just try and look into it from the other side.
Yeah, just don't be ignorant to it, because that's really the main issue with this reaction. It's been brushed, and again, it's been brushed aside, like with the other document, and just who knows if it'll be turned into a joke, but just the whole thing just really sickens me.
Yeah.
Really, my advice as well is just be careful who you idolize.
Yeah, really do. There's also like other artists that have like problems, but I didn't mention them here because I figured, oh, both I have like a lot more personal stuff of like Joe Hawley in particular.
Yeah. Well, with like
Melanie Martinez, for example.
Yeah, Melanie Martinez. Yeah, that she's still idolized despite the horrendous stuff that she did.
Yeah, which she really shouldn't be.
Yeah, it just really, like, when an artist does something terrible and it's someone that you idolize, you really gotta consider that, is it worth still supporting them? It sounds hard to do, especially if you have the hyperfixation that the person who wrote the 2023 document has, but it's really something you gotta, I guess, work towards, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, it's just something you really gotta try and work towards, and like maybe try and focus on other things. That often ends up helping.
Yeah, just I really just hope that's all I can really do with the whole Joe Hawley thing. Just hope that he can get the help he needs. I don't know if he is. We won't know if he is, or if he's gonna harm another person and another doc gets written. Because right now we're already at 2 documents.
Yeah, 2 whole documents. That's not good for this sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's like he needs to be held accountable in some way. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, he should get canceled or whatnot. Just have him take responsibility, because it doesn't seem like he is. And I get it, again, with the mental health, but still, that's a reason, not an excuse. Definitely not an excuse.
Yeah.
Just this whole situation really pisses me off in a way. Just the reaction, just some of the defense and some of the reactions.
Yeah, 100%.
Really wish these were like taken more seriously. Especially especially since Joe Hawley is a very influential artist. So really, what else can we do other than just try to bring it some form of attention?
Yeah, which is what we tried to do here.
Yeah. Just overall, like, I don't like him as a songwriter, and I definitely do not like what he did in those 2 documents, alleged or not. Just again, at the very least, he should get help for his issues, because at this point it could get a lot worse.
Yeah, because he could have already harmed other people and we don't know about it.
Yeah, like even like before both documents released, he could have harmed someone else, and they were just being silent about it. But again, who knows? It's really just best not to let it slide that easily.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
If I wouldn't mind saying one thing too here. I didn't say this in the original, but I wouldn't mind saying it here. I do say it a lot, but there's also a lot of comparisons in other indie artists. Try not to do that too, cause
yeah.
especially with Joe Hawley by name there, it feels kind of insulting there.
Yeah, especially after what he's done, and especially since the indie music genre is supposed to be very unique, supposed to have a lot of different unique voices, different styles, and everything. So having it group into one thing only just makes it seem generic. That makes any sense.
When it's really not.
Yeah, just I guess refrain from doing that even more because I don't want to see the music genre just be this Tally Hall Center thing as much as Joe Hawley wants to push that.
Yeah, I really don't want that either.
Yeah, but overall, just if you want to support Joe Hawley, that's fine. Just really take into account the things that have been said and published throughout those two documents. Just look at it through a new lens and not just in the lens of a Joe Hawley defender or a Tally Hall fan. Just try to at least look at it with some sort of respect, because some reactions are not respectful at all.
Yeah.
Just downplaying, just a lot of just a lot of brushing it off, pretty much.
Yeah, like nobody's really there's not a lot of people taking it seriously, so we just tried to accomplish that here.
Yeah. And yeah, I get it's like I've seen some videos, like most of the videos are just like bits are just like, oh my god, my favorite my favorite artist is a bad guy, and it's just like it's not about you.
Yeah, it's not how it works.
Yeah, I want to clarify that again. It's not a special case with Tally Hall. It's happened to a lot of them. These sort of call-outs, but yeah, this is just again the same case as be careful who you idolize.
Yeah. I don't know how much else I have to really say there.
Me neither. I think I'm about done with this. We can just finish the race and stop it all here.
Alright, I do want to mention the next time again on here.
Alrighty.
Since it did get cut off from there. Next time on Garfield Kart Reviews, we're gonna be doing our first special guest episode. With Zuzu Maybe, we're gonna be talking about a pretty personal artist to Good Kid, and all 3 of his EPs, so that's to be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah. I guess real quick, I want to mention we've been holding it in for like holding up most like the laughter for this episode to keep it serious, but I guess since we're at the end now, I can mention I spawned in and my character just went for the floor.
Oh my god!
It just flipped upside down and went for the floor.
Oh my god!
But I didn't want to mention it because I was trying to keep it serious.
We're at the end now, so pretty much just got what I did got it out of my system in the vibe, but I got caught up, but I got in a different way here.
Yeah, and we got to fill it out a bit more here.
Yeah, and some even fill out some parts we didn't mention yet, so that's good.
Yippee!
Yippee!
Yeah, bye.